Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing scheduled for the IBO Super Middleweight Championship of the world. This bout is brought to you by Lou DiBella's DiBella Entertainment, sponsored by Nulio, Azad Watches, Manfredi Auto Group. Shop the Manfredi Way on Highland Boulevard in Staten Island for your best deal. Everlast and SNY. This bout is sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission, Chairperson Melvina Lathan in attendance, and the IBO, President Edward S. Levine, Supervisor in attendance, Hilton Whitaker III. Judges ringside, Glenn Feldman, Steve Weisfeld, and John Potteray. Your referee for this contest, Eddie Cotton. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the four corners of the world to the four corners of this ring, the fight starts now. Introducing first, the challenger. Boxing out of the blue corner, he wears black with gold trim. Official weight, an even 168 pounds. Professional record, 16 victories against only 1 defeat. He has 11 wins coming by way of knockout. From Orlando, Florida, please welcome Rowland Bryant. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner. He wears white and silver. He tipped the scales at a ready 167 pounds. He is undefeated as a professional with a record of 19 victories, no defeats. He has 1 draw. He has 13 wins coming by way of knockout. From Gauteng, South Africa, the reigning, defending, undefeated IBO Super Middleweight Champion of the world, Tommy Gun Oosthuizen.
All right, boxers, you both received my instructions in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. Obey my commands and protect yourself at all times. Let's touch gloves.
So Oosthuizen there in the white trunks. The silver trim, Rowland Bryant, the black trunks. Oosthuizen has won 6 fights in a row now since that 12-round draw he had back in November, and that was 2 years ago, November of 2010.
Beginning of this fight will be very interesting. We know Oosthuizen has gone long in fights. Bryant hasn't. Does Bryant try to do something dramatic early? And does he put a lot of pressure on the South African early? That will be the question.
Yeah, let's see if Bryant can get inside of Oosthuizen.
And I like Tommy Gunn right now, what he's doing. Most tall guys will start out just jabbing. He's not giving Bryant an opportunity here early on to figure him out and look at what he's trying to do.
Bryant missed with the uppercut.
I think it's safe to say, guys, that this is about featuring 2 different body types.
Yes.
A rather dramatic difference.
And you can see Oosthuizen, he will use that right hand just as a pecking jab to set up that big left. That's what he wants to use to score.
But what I see early, again, it's only the first round, but what I see here is Tommy Gunn is going to have to get closer in order to be effective with his shots. From the outside, he's not able to land anything. He's going to have to take chances to get closer, and that's going to play right into Rowland Bryant's hand.
Bryant misses with a right hook. Gunn connects with the left.
you watch the long shots, Tommy Gunn is not able to get off.
But you do see that Tommy Gunn is aggressive. And that's where I think he's different from most fighters that you would think 6'4" super middleweights would be. Not that there are any other 6'4" super middleweights.
Nice right.
A nice left hand, but Bryant rolled with that right hook, but he took that left hand pretty well.
Bryant content to let the fight come to him, but I'll tell you what, he's giving the round away.
This is 12. We're going 12 rounds here.
And it's clear that neither guy's in a rush right now.
Something else to look for. Oosthuizen, 3 of his last 5 fights has been cut over the right eye. Got a lot of scar tissue there. Something to look for.
There's a right by Bryant. It was blocked, though, by Oosthuizen. First round's in the books.
And what a great corner that is. That's Harold Goldbrecht, the Chief's second. He was the #1 WBA contender years ago. Fought Mark Breland for the title. And outside the ring is Brian Mitchell, who was one of the great junior lightweights of all time.
Brian Mitchell, of course, Hall of Famer now, International Hall of Fame of boxing. As we take a look at some of the action from the first round, you see that right hand connect by Oosthuizen.
Well, yeah, the left hand was a little short, but that right hook came back and was able to catch him early. I thought Brian was able to roll with it, but he glanced him on that shot.
Good hand speed, too, by Tommy Gunn. Now that we had the filling out period, let's see if the pace picks up here.
Now, this is where the mental state of an experienced boxer comes into play. Because Tommy Gunn took his time coming out the corner. First round, he did what he wanted to do. He wanted to show Rowland Bryant a certain look. Get the young guy thinking, okay, I got him figured out. Then you come out and you switch up, because he came out this round a little more aggressive than he did the first round. Notice he's more in the center of the ring. He's not moving as he did the first round.
Bryant misses wildly with the right hook.
And let me remind viewers that maybe didn't see the Bryant fight with Andrade. For 2 rounds, Bryant didn't do anything. Then all of a sudden in the third, he exploded and Andrade was down and the fight was over.
And I flirted a little earlier, and I'll try to expand. I don't expect Rowland Bryant to lay down or not try to win this fight, because his mindset is to look out for himself, be more Rowland Bryant first. So I expect him to have that evil side of him mentally. And he was once managed by the female great Christy Martin.
Once again, these guys, cat and mouse game between these two.
And Bryant is just looking for that overhand right.
There it is.
That's the only punch he's looking to throw. But I mean, you have to try to set it up. There go one jab, but try to set it up.
Body shots there by Oosthuizen.
Very little sense of urgency from Bryant. I'm a little surprised by that. I talked about his confidence, but I don't know how he can have a lot of confidence to go 12 rounds when he's never been past 6.
He gets Tommy Gunn on the ropes.
That's where the training comes into play, Steve.
Body shot by Bryant. There's a left. And another left hook. Misses with the overhand right hook.
Seems to me there, Oosthuizen was taking unnecessary punches. As soon as he stopped moving and let his man inside, he got hit with some big shots.
So Bryant a little more active in that second round. As we take a listen in to the Bryant corner.
The overhand right is short because you're throwing it from here. You got to dip and throw it like if you're going to hit him behind where he's at, okay? That's the only way you're going to catch him. You're just warming up now, okay? Your combination when you get a chance on the inside, slash him. Look for the slashing punches, okay?
Don't shoot the head. Shoot for his shoulders, all right? Shoot for his shoulders and you land his head, okay?
All right, jab from each other. Bang, bang, bang. You're going to get off with the jab beat and not the miss. Okay.
Okay. All right, looking good. There you go. Let me have it.
This is round 3. This title fight. These guys are going 12 rounds. I use 1 round each thus far, Brian?
Correct. I get it first round of Tommy Gunn. I thought he was the he controlled the action. Second round, I thought Brian certainly landed the harder shots, the more effective shots. But you heard both corners imploring their guys to get going.
There's a left hand by Tommy Gunn. And it was interesting. Brian's corner said the same thing that you talked about. He said, hey, that right hand is there. And you said, hey, look, Brian's looking for that overhand right.
Well, he has the right hand cocked back. Look at his stance. Can't throw jabs, can't throw hooks.
And he couldn't reach him even if he did throw a jab. He's so far away.
He's looking to walk Tommy Gunn into a right hand. Watch, he keeps sliding over to the right. He's looking to walk him into a right hand. I mean, you could do that on a club level. But when you step up to being A level, those guys not going to fall for those type of tricks.
Misses wildly with a left hook.
Well, Bryant is clearly picking his spots. And Oosthuizen can keep the fight on the outside if he wants for most of the time because Bryant's not really pressuring him. Bryant's fighting a pretty cagey fight, trying to pick his spots as opposed to applying constant pressure.
And Oosthuizen's corner talked to him about using that jab.
And although Oosthuizen,
He goes with a left hand. There you go. There's a nice combination by Oosthuizen.
is a taller guy who likes to fight, he should really establish a jab in this fight. See, because a jab will keep that right hand, keep Rowland Bryant honest with that right hand.
Both guys tried to load up there. Bryant with the right, Oosthuizen with the left, both miss.
We talked about Bryant never having been past 6. At this pace, I don't think he's going to have trouble going past 6. It's not a fast pace.
See, watch, every time Tommy Gunn jabs or feint the jab, Rowland Bryant steps away. So establish the jab.
Bryant misses again with the right.
Bryant swinging for the fences.
You know, again, one of the interesting things with Tommy Oosthuizen is that, you know, every time he stepped up, it seems like in class and against opposition, he's given an impressive performance. I think that's why many think that, you know, this one should be another one.
I totally agree with that, Brian. He's looked really good. And we take a look at action from round 3. You see who's making the fight, who's initiating the punching. It's Oosthuizen. And what he did there was a very good move. He landed, he threw a few combinations, and then he stepped back out of range. Didn't give Bryant a chance to counter.
The one thing I've noticed about Tommy Gunn is how he holds his hands. Does he hold them too low, Brian?
No, I think it's all a matter of how you feel comfortable in there. Some guys prefer to keep their hands up high, some guys lower. It's how you feel comfortable getting your shots off in a smooth transition.
This is round 4 of this title fight. We're at the historic Rowland Ballroom here in the heart of Midtown Manhattan.
Last time out, Oosthuizen on Showbox looked a lot more impressive than this against Marcus Johnson, but that's for good reason. Marcus Johnson did a lot more fighting. Bryant is picking his spots and not doing a lot of fighting, making Oosthuizen cut to him.
Another overhand left there by Rowland Bryant, misses. Ooh, Oosthuizen pops him 3 times with the jab.
Again, just watch every time Oosthuizen jabs. Forces Rowland Bryant to reset. Step away and reset.
Here's the right jab there.
When he throws hooks like that, Rowland Bryant don't try to reset.
Here's a right hook by Bryant. Went to the body first, came back up to the head.
This is taking a lot of discipline on the part of Oosthuizen because he likes to fight. And he's picking his spots now too. Both guys are.
Bryant trying to pressure him now.
But I wouldn't be surprised to see
Body shot by Bryant.
Oosthuizen pick it up as the rounds go on.
Here's a left by Bryant.
Well, Bryant's never going to match Oosthuizen's volume punching, that's for sure. It's all about one big bomb from Bryant. Will it land? And will it have an effect on Oosthuizen, who has a very, very solid chin? Looks like there was a clash of heads there.
Final seconds of the round. Oosthuizen working the body of Bryant. And I'm surprised that Rowland Bryant hasn't been more busy with the body of Oosthuizen.
Punching to the body, yeah. Especially when he gets close. But he's been too far away to do steady body work.
Bring it down.
He has tried to get inside.
Right. It's interesting because his corner, as we just take a listen and say, listen, you need to bring the punches down. Get to the body.
You're gonna have to make a rough fight, okay? You already got his timing. You're fresh. You're warming up now, okay? You land that hook to the head, and you're gonna come back with the fire hand to the body, okay? More body shots, okay? The right hand, you're missing it.
Well, Rowland Bryant being aggressive, you can see him on the attack, landing a nice, short, sneaky right hook on the inside. He's trying to get close. He's trying to drop his head, get in the chest, and throw hard shots, hoping Tommy Gunn pulls out. He could catch him on the end of one of those long shots.
And you heard his Rowland Bryant's corner tell him, you got to go to the body and then come up to the head. Because as you said, he's head hunting first.
Correct. You have to set him up. You have to freeze your guy for a split second. Touch that body to come right up top. The problem is every shot he's throwing is hard.
Nice little left hook by Oosthuizen connects.
And unless Rowland Bryant can be effective with one of those hard punches,
Now he works the body of Oosthuizen.
I think Oosthuizen will certainly win this fight on decision. Nice body shot by Oosthuizen.
That one came up, a nice uppercut.
And he slowed Rowland Bryant down.
He could fight off the ropes, the South African. He did that with Marcus Johnson. You see a 6'4" guy, you say, oh, he's in trouble now because he's on the inside. Not the case. He likes to fight on the inside. He's a very good body puncher.
Yeah, that body shot certainly slowed down Rowland Bryant. Past 15, 20 seconds, he hasn't done anything.
And he pops him with that jab, that right hand.
See, this is exactly where nice right hook. This is the distance that Oosthuizen needs.
Bryant back with a body shot, then goes up to the head.
In close like this, you give Bryant a shot.
Another big right hand.
Inside, he's throwing elbows. Referee Eddie Cotton giving him stern warning. Again, back to the body by Tommy Oosthuizen.
He really steps in with that left hand to the body.
See, he has Rowland Bryant standing right in front of him, doing nothing.
It's been that way from round one, pretty much. Bryant's fighting the kind of fight where you think his strategy is, I need one shot. And maybe he does, but maybe it won't come.
That one looked a little low.
That's a good body shot, though. Heavy.
There's another swing for the fences shot by Rowland Bryant.
Barry Bonds would have been proud of that swing.
And Oosthuizen comes back and pops him with that right jab. Follows it up with a left hand. Another left by Oosthuizen. He is certainly skilled. Uses that jab, follows it up with that left hand.
And he's a hard guy to fight because his punches come from kind of strange places. Like a tall guy like that, he brings that left hand underneath a lot. You don't expect that. Not a classic boxer by any stretch.
Yeah. Yes. You want to referee, we see I try illegal shots, yes. Tommy, you have box at speed. I love the car with the move.
Here's some of the action from round 5, and let's take a look at Oosthuizen and what he did fighting up the ropes.
Steve mentioned he throws shots awkwardly. You can see he landed a nice left hook underneath, which wasn't really an uppercut, but it was an uppercut. He landed a right hook from the outside. He throws the punches where you don't think a tall puncher, as Steve said, will be throwing.
We've come to the halfway point of this title fight here in New York City.
And Rowland Bryant has his eyes fixed on a belly.
Ooh, good left hand by Oosthuizen. Follows it up with a right.
A lot of control being shown by Oosthuizen because he has landed some big shots, but he's not getting overexcited. Staying with his game plan. Strike from the outside, inside and up to the body and upstairs.
Bryant comes back now, body shots.
Oosthuizen is the tallest super middleweight I've ever seen. Now, Aaron Pryor Jr. is about the same height, and they did fight each other. And Oosthuizen beat Pryor.
Yes, he did. There's the right hand. That shot by Bryant. Comes back with another left. Wow! Now Rowland Bryant working over Oosthuizen.
What's interesting about that?
Good, Steve. Good.
What's interesting about that exchange is that Oosthuizen ended up stepping in. He needed protection by being closer because he was getting hit with so many big shots.
I was just about to say he caught that danger zone because he stepped out. And he got caught stepping out with a straight right hand.
What a chin, though, by Oosthuizen. He misses with that left hook.
Be interesting to see how the judges score this round. We still have almost a minute to go. But Bryant's punches are so few and far between, yet he's had his moments. And that might have been his best moment of the fight right there.
Oosthuizen on the ropes. Bryant, right hook. Another right hand.
Well, Rowland Bryant, you know hard shots are coming. Keep your defense tight on the inside and counterpunch.
He almost launched himself into orbit with that right uppercut.
Sure did. And the thing you like about Oosthuizen, calm, cool, and collected. The demeanor
Always.
never changes.
Although that was Bryant's round, no doubt about it. His best moment in the fight.
Yeah, so far in the fight, best round for him.
Yeah, I scored rounds 2 and round 6.
Let's hear what his corner has to say.
Off the rhythm, go crazy, okay? You get in there, off the groove, run and fight. Once you find the groove inside, it's dip, throw punches, okay? You heard it, your body shot, you heard, okay?
Here's some of the action from round 6.
Well, the corner told him, Joe Frazier, go low, come up swinging. For the most part, he is able to do that. But Oosthuizen cooperated with him with standing tall and pulling straight out.
Okay? Get that bucket out of there. Beautiful.
You heard his corner talking about Rowland Bryant, telling him you got to work his body hard this round.
Well, for the record, this is the first time Rowland Bryant's gone past 6 rounds. And he's the 32-year-old. The 24-year-old, Oosthuizen, he's been more than 6 rounds 10 times, and he's only 24.
Well, like I said, Rowland Bryant was once managed by my friend Chrissy Martin. And she told me he's always in shape. He's always ready to fight. So I didn't expect him to come in here and not be prepared to go to 12 rounds. And I know Christy's back home watching, so I just want to say hi to her.
Oh, Oosthuizen is popping him now. Talking about Bryant with that jab, that right hand.
You know, there comes a time in the fight where if you're Oosthuizen, you have to say, well, if Bryant's going to let me stand away, stand outside and just jab and pick and poke, I got to do that. I have to take it. There's a time to fight, and there's a time to just take every round and win it.
Here's a left hand. The ref tells him to bring it up. Oh, they both exchange punches there, center of the ring.
And Rowland Bryant about to lose the B on his trunk. But when Oosthuizen jabs, snaps the jab, he has success. So right there, he should step in with that jab and throw the uppercut.
Here he comes with a couple of left hands.
Nice move by Tommy Gunn, changing angles there as he came in.
And that was a switch because for a split second, he had Bryant against the ropes.
I think this is just what Oosthuizen needed this round. A nice quiet round, good comeback round.
Bryant in close. You see swinging up.
See, Oosthuizen making Bryant miss on the inside, but he has yet to counter on the inside. I would like to see more counter punching on the inside from Oosthuizen.
Another forearm elbow left.
Nice body
left
shot.
elbow.
Yeah, Oosthuizen going to work now.
When Oosthuizen touches that body, he has been effective on Bryant. Nice jab.
He seems to peck away at Bryant at will with that jab.
And every time Oosthuizen lands a solid body shot, Bryant slows up for 15-20 seconds.
There's a right hand by Bryant. Oosthuizen comes right back.
That's the mean streak I spoke about. That's what I was talking about, him not being a nice person.
Stop, the 5 rounds left. Just keep doing what you do. Yes, brilliant.
We talked about Oosthuizen, and all of a sudden, watch how he jumps to his right. Now he switches southpaw. Now he's square. You don't know where he's coming from. But he took another step to his right and threw the left hand. Very awkward, very hard to defend against.
That's the body shot on the inside. Nice left hand underneath. Put Rowland Bryant in a soft spot. And Bryant slowed up and did nothing for about 15-20 seconds.
Yeah, this is the type of fight that Thomas Oosthuizen loves. He even said, they said, listen, I love a tough fight. I love to be pushed. I love guys that come out and want to win. That always makes you fight harder, makes you look better, and pushes you to punch faster.
You know, we've been speaking about Rowland Bryant inexperience. But keep in mind, his last fight was a step up, major network. And he performed well. He didn't wilter under the lights.
Oh, here comes Oosthuizen.
That Oosthuizen is that Jersey Joe Walcott with that move.
He circled the ring and then came right in at him. Once again, pounds away at Bryant with that jab.
During these moments when they're in ring center, right hand there looked like Bryant was shook. But during these moments when they're in ring center at this distance, Bryant's doing Oosthuizen a favor because he's staying at that long distance where he can't reach him.
Distance, and he's not active. See right there, distance, and Bryant's not active.
There's a body shot, a left hand.
A guy 5 inches taller than you should not be allowed to stand on the outside and breathe.
Right hand by Bryant, blocked by Tommy Gunn.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've criticized or talked about the fact that Oosthuizen sometimes carries his hands very low. His hands have been high. His guard has been high when it's needed to be.
He's again pecking away at Bryant with that jab.
4 jabs. Why stop? 5 jabs, 6.
And look who's stepping backward.
As I said, the jab has been confusing Bryant.
There's a left hand by Oosthuizen.
That's the jab set all of that up. If Bryant allows Oosthuizen to stand on the outside, snap those jabs, and get long left hands off, he's not going to go the distance.
Well, you got to be impressed with the boxing skills of Tommy Gunn. Because he does, as you love to point out, he snaps that jab. And it has just been very effective thus far tonight.
Well, if a guy is 5 inches taller than his opponent, this is the right thing to do. Stiff jabs in the middle of the ring. Once you back the guy up, you get him confused, let that left hand go to the body and to the head. And that's exactly what Oosthuizen did that last round.
So far, Thomas Oosthuizen is seeming to have it in cruise control here. Keep him at bay with the jab. Hit him a few times with that left hand in the body, and that's really been the recipe that he's gone with here the past 3 rounds or so.
I like your description, cruise control. I think that's right on, because the pace is very comfortable for Oosthuizen. And that 8th round, if you're rooting for Bryant, that was very discouraging because his punch count was very, very low. I guess 30 punches or less. And, you know, we have 4 rounds to go in this fight. He's going to have to pick it up, and he's getting near the point, if not already there, where he's going to need a 1-punch knockout.
Well, I have a 6 rounds to 2 thus far in favor of Oosthuizen.
Oh, that jab is just so effective.
Again, too much distance. Look at the distance there. Even if you're starting to doubt yourself, you have to get closer. Give yourself a chance.
There's a left hand.
And if you get a tall guy comfortable with working that jab, right hooks, left hands, he's going to start to do everything.
The reach advantage for Oosthuizen is only 3.5 inches. Now, I say only, that's considerable, but he's just fighting at the right distance, and Bryant is letting him fight at the right distance.
Because Bryant is so used to leaping in, lunging in with big shots. If Bryant knew how to jab, he would be able to close the gap somewhat.
Yeah, he's certainly got to be frustrated because Tommy Gunn is hitting him at will with that jab.
Rowland Bryant just tried to jab. But jab from a distance.
Your voice is stronger than you think. He heard you. But the pace is very slow. And when you're ahead, you just want the rounds to go by nice and easy.
Oh, there's a good jab, and he follows it up with a left hand, Tommy Gunn.
And again, Rowland Bryant
left
is cooperating with Tommy Gunn.
We talked about Oosthuizen being a contender, a top 10 contender in this division. This remains one of the most talented divisions in boxing. You got Andre Ward. You have Andre Durrell, who's back now. You have Kessler, who's still around. You have a rejuvenated Carl Froch. And Adonis Stevenson. It's a great division.
Oh, there's a right hand. Bryant finally connects.
And Bryant only lets his hands go when his head is in the chest with Tommy Gunn. Other than that, look at that. From outside, he does nothing.
Swings for the fences, comes up with nothing. Oosthuizen, body shot with the left hand. There's a left hook by Bryant. Follows it up with a straight right. Oosthuizen fights his way off the ropes.
You find him when you let the hands go, okay? That lead hand. Right hand will work. As soon as you get him on the ropes, Rowland, as soon as you get him on the ropes, okay? Set your feet pointing up, flat. Close your eyes, close your eyes. And he's tired too, man. He's tired too, okay?
Just keep on boxing. You're winning easy. Throw those snap benches in. Just be careful. 9 minutes.
Best advice you can give him. Just keep boxing and be careful.
Well, Steve touched on the fact that he has a very, very knowledgeable corner. And it's not rocket science to say you're winning, you're coasting, keep doing what you're doing.
Rowland Bryant's waiting for one shot. The bad news is it's probably going to take more than one shot. Oosthuizen has a good chin, too, on top of everything else.
It might happen in the 13th round.
Wait a minute. How long is this fight scheduled for? I got to check my notes here.
There's the right hand by Bryant. Roland Bryant's come alive.
But Rowland Bryant got hit with a short 1-2 on the inside, and he grabbed.
But the three big right hands Oosthuizen got hit with, well, where was he? He was along the ropes. And he hasn't been along the ropes much in this fight.
And he comes
nice
back
right hook
with
to
a
the
left
body.
hand to the body. And a nice combination again. And he just has that look on his face. And he's had it the whole fight. Doesn't change. It's almost like a smile / smirk.
Listen, as a fighter, you know when you're in complete control of a fight. And I think Oosthuizen realizes he's in complete control. Why not have a little fun in there?
Coming upon a minute here in round 10, this title fight, we're going 12.
Bryant's failure to date tonight, anyway, is very simple. When he fought Liberato Andrade, he landed big shots, and Andrade went. When he's landed big shots against Tommy Gunn, nothing's happened.
Just what skill? Oosthuizen. Jab, follows it up with a left to the body, with another right.
And Oosthuizen has showed the versatility because we build this as him being a beast, as you call him, as a fighter. He's been disciplined and he's boxed thus far for 10 rounds. So I'm impressed with the versatility of Tommy Gunn Oosthuizen. And I asked myself, why do they call you Tommy Gunn?
Oh, as a left hand, he wound it up.
He said training, he hurt guys, and his trainer said, look like a 9mm.
Both guns working tonight.
You're catching him, you still can do it, okay?
Here comes some of the action from round 10. And again, Bryant successful there. There's the right hand. And then there's the other one. But watch Oosthuizen come back after this flurry. Look at this.
Yeah, Rowland Bryant showed a little life there for about 15 seconds. Oosthuizen said, ha, calm down.
As you heard the corner of Oosthuizen told him, hit him with the jab, bop, bop, then come right back with the right hand uppercut.
It's fun to project with Oosthuizen how he would do against the best super middleweights in the world, the veterans, the Andre Wards and the Kesslers and the Andre Durrells. It's very interesting. I think we'll see it soon. Matter of fact, he was offered a fight against Carl Froch in England. And his promoter, Rodney Berman, who co-promotes Oosthuizen with Lou DiBella, turned it down. He didn't like the term. Of course, it would have been in England. That's one negative term off the bat.
Well, I think Oosthuizen can certainly compete with those guys you just mentioned.
As he just goes with the flurry on Rowland Bryant.
And in that sequence, he should have thrown a body shot.
Bryant gets through with a right hand. And an uppercut.
Some swelling over the right eye of Oosthuizen, but again, that's where he's been cut a lot. That's where he has scar tissue. Fortunately for him, no blood tonight.
And now listen, we've been talking about Oosthuizen, rightfully so, but it's not hard or inconceivable for Rowland Bryant to get back into this fight in this last round and a half. He just needs to really get close, put his head in the chest of Oosthuizen, and just let his hands go.
But he's going to have to score a knockout if he wants to get the W.
Yeah, my card and your card, I'm sure he needs a knockout.
He's trying to get that right hand through.
I have Oosthuizen up 8 points.
Oh, he took a good left. Oosthuizen with a left uppercut.
I'm sorry, 6 points. 8 rounds to 2. Yeah.
Right hand by Oosthuizen. Bryant followed with a right of his own.
Bryant really haven't shown fatigue, but he really hasn't shown a huge output.
Yeah, his pace has been measured, but it's been steady. And it hasn't been fast enough, obviously.
Now he has a cut over his right eye.
Over his right eye now.
Bryant.
That's formed as he connects with a right hand.
Nice body shot.
To the body by Oosthuizen. This has certainly been a clinic by Tommy Gunn Oosthuizen.
Last round, right? Looking brilliant. Looking brilliant.
Look at Oosthuizen dancing in this corner. As you said, you might as well have fun.
This is the last round.
You're doing.
He can't do it.
You're doing this.
Top of his head.
You realize this? I realize he can't do it later than if you say. He's only got one chance. So he's going to go for a big knockout. So don't take chances, Thomas. Don't take chances.
He can pick your hands up. He can pick your hands up.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 12th and final round.
And great advice there, because his trainer told him, hey, look, keep your hands up. It only takes one shot.
And he said he's going to look for that one shot.
Oosthuizen bopping to the music, and I think he even got the Round Call Girls phone number there. This guy does it all, man. He's having fun.
The way he went to work, he deserves it.
Yeah, I mean, he comes to New York only once. He's taking advantage of it.
And he has not let up.
The big story, of course, has been the Olympics. And a couple of nights ago, a swimmer from South Africa named Chad Leclos punched the water after he upset Michael Phelps. And Oosthuizen's punching Bryant for 11+ rounds.
There's talking about swinging for the fences. They both miss. He saw Tommy Gunn. He said, look, come on, let's go. As he pops him with Bryant with the jab again.
You can see that even though he's not cut, that's a lot of raw skin there over the right eye of Oosthuizen.
Rowland Bryant is doing the right thing. He's trying to get close and throw big shots. That's the only shot he has right now.
But when he throws one of those leaping hooks or long right hands and misses, how much does that take out of him? That's the question.
Last round, it really doesn't matter.
Well, he's been reasonably busy this round, letting it go. There's no round 13.
No?
Maybe on your card, but...
Because I predicted he'd score a knockout in the 13th round.
Funny thing is, Bryant right now, with the wide shots he's throwing, Oosthuizen's almost safer on being close.
Right.
Shots will go around his head and around his shoulders.
Blood trickling out of the right eye of Bryant. Oh, here's a left hand.
Bryant stopped throwing punches.
Coming up on the last 30 seconds of this fight.
Final thought on Bryant. There are plenty of super middleweights he can knock out. Tommy Gunn just isn't one of them.
Not at all. There's a left hand by Bryant. Another right hand. Oosthuizen comes back with a left of his own. Final 10 seconds here.
And why do we love Tommy Gunn? He's not holding, he's punching back.
No, at all.
And he's trying to inflict some hurt on Rowland Bryant.
What a performance in his New York City debut.
I think a solid performance. Normally when a tall guy wins 10, 11 rounds out of a 12-round bout, you think it's a boring fight. This was exciting because he kept the pressure on Rowland Bryant, although he wasn't that aggressive, but he kept the pressure on Rowland Bryant.
This is the final round here. You see Bryant connected with that right and the left. But watch Oosthuizen comes right back. Oh, body shot there.
Bryant had a glimmer of hope there. Looked like John Tate, Mike Weaver there for a minute, but it didn't end up with the same result.
Yeah, 12th round. But again, he wanted to be impressive. He wanted to have people talking at the water coolers tomorrow. I think he accomplished what he wanted.
You know, you got to give it to him because he's not only skilled, but you can tell he's got a great chin as well. Because Rowland Bryant, as you pointed out, was really swinging for the fences and a lot of big shots, but really never connected.
Right, he has a great chin, good poise in there, calm, but an assertive style about him.
And the punches that he did connect, they didn't rock him.
And Rowland Bryant, well, listen, he hasn't been past 6 rounds. He was scheduled for 10 his last fight, and he upset a guy and knocked him out in the 3rd round. So he should be commended as well. And 4, stepping up, not being afraid to go to try to go to the next level. He fell short, but as Steve said, there are plenty of super middleweights that he can challenge and defeat and look good against because of his aggressive style.
And would you tell him, talking about Rowland Bryant, the next time he fights a tall fighter like Tommy Gunn, next time you get on the inside, you got to do a lot more work?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, that goes without saying. When you get close, you need to be close. So when you get close, let your hands go. He just got close, and he really wasn't that effective with his output. So you have to get close and throw punches. I know this is a disappointing loss for him.
Well, let's go up to the ring. Our ring announcer, Diamond Dave Diamante, with the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action here at the Roseland, we go to the judges' score totals. John Potere scores this bout 118 to 110. Glenn Feldman and Steve Weisfeld both scored this bout 117 to 111. For your winner by unanimous decision, and still IBO super middleweight champion of the world, Tommy Gunn Oosthuizen.
So Oosthuizen, no surprise here, wins a unanimous decision over Rowland Bryant. Now 20-0-1. Rowland Bryant 16-2. An impressive performance. Let's go up to the ring. Here's our Steve Farhood with the winner.
All right, Tommy Gunn, congratulations. An impressive victory in New York. How tough a fight was that for you?
Thanks, Stephen. Thanks, everybody, for supporting all the people here. Love to see a full crowd. Thanks for having me here. You know, Rowland Bryant is a tough guy. He's a tough guy. He took some good shots, and he delivered some good shots. All credit to Rowland. He came to fight. All credit to him. Good opponent.
I said on the air in calling the fight, there are a lot of super middleweights tonight that Rowland Bryant would have knocked out. You just don't happen to be one of them. You have a heck of a chin.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I should work on this defense of mine, because defending punches with my face isn't such a good thing for me. It's not working so well. But yeah, I've still got a lot to improve on, and we'll work on that, go back to the drawing board and progress.
What would you like next?
I just want my career to go forward. Harold Fulbrecht's my manager and trainer. Rodney Berman, Golden Gloves and Ludabella DeBella Entertainment are my promoters. You know, they'll choose what's the best for me, and then we'll go from there.
Super Sport, they're watching back home. It's early in the morning for those watching live. Give a final message to your fans at home.
Yes, you know, on Facebook, I received a lot of messages from South Africa sending love and support, and I just want to tell everybody in South Africa, thanks for everything. Thanks for being with me 100%. We came here, we did it. You know, I miss a lot of people. I miss my dad, my mom, my family, but we're going home tomorrow, and we came here for success. So God didn't bring us all the way here to lose. So, yeah, I'm happy. Thanks, everybody at home.
Congratulations, Tommy Gunn. And we're going to throw it back to Brian and Brian at ringside.
All right, Stevie, thank you very much. As we recap this fight, the main event. Thomas Oosthuizen came in undefeated and popped that jab to Bryant's face all fight long.
He worked the jab. Once he got his jab really going, he confused Rowland Bryant, and he was able to land the right hook, body shots, head shots. Rowland Bryant put a game effort on, but just wasn't enough because Tommy Gunn certainly outgunned him.
He certainly did. Used that left. He's still undefeated now, 20-0, and still the IBO super middleweight champ. Tommy Gunn victorious tonight in his New York City debut here on Broadway.